Good morning. Today is the 17th of December 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan levels for today. But as always, before we start, let's see what news could move the market today. 8:30 retail sales, high volatility. Didn't do a great deal by the looks of it. A little bit of a indecision candle for that 5 minute. We do have some medium volatile news coming in at 9:15 shortly, and then again at 10 o'clock. Business inventories, and that's pretty much it for today. Could be a quiet day tomorrow. We have FOMC 2 p.m. Fed rate decision, so things could be just slowing down a bit today. Let's just go to the daily chart of the. So we could look at the SPY. I was going to look at the ES. Just see what the volume's doing yesterday. So look at that for a chart. So this is the ES. We're looking at the daily time frame right now, and we're kind of just sitting here in between here, just chopping around. We've kind of been in this zone now for some time, and in order for us to move forward, we need to know whether we're going to break out and put in a new high or break down. To me, on the daily, that looks like a bear flag. That kind of pattern there, and waiting for the breakout, but who knows, we are pretty extended right now. We are quite far away from the 200, we're quite far away from the 50, although we are coming back, although the 20 moving average is catching up with the market, and that might be exactly why we're chopping sideways for a bit, chopping away until we catch up, and then we continue the next leg up. Green day yesterday, is that right? That's today's count, Monday. Yeah, green day on lesser volume than Friday. So just take a note of that. So there's more aggressive sellers in this region up here than there is aggressive buyers, or more sellers and buyers. We can see that with the higher red day, higher volume on the red days and lower volumes on the green day. Let's just take a look at the hourly. Obviously we've got this key level as well. We're watching the breakout of that pivot, and we've been holding it quite nicely. Doesn't look like there's any real signs we're breaking down. Volume, you can expect to see a bit of volume up here now where we've been chopping around for a couple of weeks. So let's drop down to the hourly and see if we've got any levels. I've cleaned all the drawings off my chart because the contract's rolled over, all my drawings are a bit out of sync, so I thought I'd just start again. What do I see? So we've got this level here, 61.15, so new numbers as well, because obviously now the contract's rolled over, so we've got new levels, new numbers, and so areas we were watching before like 6100 or 66,000 could still be in play, but more if we're looking for downside. And we've got this area up here, yesterday's high, I quite like that area, and in fact we've got this entire zone. Point of control, notice that where the point of control and the volume profile goes right through that area. So 61.70 is a number to take note of now. 61.64, 61.60, that area is an area to watch as well. So what I do quite like is if we, we're in this range, so we're putting in, you can see this range we're putting in, kind of doing that. The two closest areas to watch right now is the break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low into this range. So if we lose pre-market low 61.25, we can watch for a bounce around the 61.15 area, so we could keep an eye on that. There's a nice area of confidence as well. Two bottom pivots, so we've got tops of candles, bottoms of candles, a little bit of a volume shelf there, not as much as what we've got above where we are right now, and we are below this volume shelf, so we'll take a little bit to push through that. If we can get through, then I like the break and retest a pre-market high 61.43, and we can run that potentially into that area here, 61.64, yesterday's high, maybe all the way up to 61.17, which is the point of control area, which is where all the volume is. So that's basically the two potentially higher probability trades today. As of a bounce, I do quite like this little area, so 61.15 for the bounce, and we could keep an eye on this region here for a rejection, 61.17. So let's just add a level in. I'm going to put it about there, just where the bodies of candles touch and intercept more bodies of candles as well, and it's around that area as well, the point of control. And that's it. Not many good levels today while we're chopping around sideways, and while we're in this range. We've been in this range now for some time. It's really difficult to trade alone, you know, inside day after inside day after inside day makes it really hard. Yesterday was a tricky day as well. If you managed to catch any trade yesterday, you did quite well. Me, didn't take it. I tried taking a break and retest of pre-market high. Really frustrating because obviously it got in, stopped me out, and then it carried on going, so really annoyed. But the silver lining is that I didn't actually take the trade. I was in a sim account, not my main accounts, because I use my sim account as my master account, and I copy it across to all, whatever I put on the sim account, I copy across to my Apex account, and I forgot to set the AM copier up. So because I rolled over my contract on my NINJATRADER, it wasn't configured to copy across. So a little bit frustrating, but still good because I didn't take the stop. But I'll still journal it as a stop and address it as a stop as well. And then when you see it do that, you know how frustrating is that? How frustrating is that when you see it push up all day and you got stopped out? But still, you know, that's why you journal the red days, because they're the most important days. Okay, looking at SPY next. Exactly same. We've got some levels here that obviously SPY doesn't roll over the contract, so the levels are still in place. Notice RSI coming down into the oversold area on this push down. We've got pretty much the same levels we can watch. Pre-market low, it's a potential bounce area. Areas of confluence, bit of a gap there, and we bounced from there yesterday, bounced from there in the pre-market. So you know that level's still in play. If we break this trend, maybe look for a higher low into this region long. If we lose this pre-market low, break and retest short. And again, the same with pre-market high, we would have broken that trend. So we're looking for a break and retest of pre-market high. And what can we be looking at? You know what, I'm going to make a change to that level. I'm going to move it to there, because I like to focus on the most recent pivots. So we've got yesterday's high, 607. You can watch this area for potential rejection, and if we're long, that's our target area. We've got the volume shelf, could be a point of control area, but we've got slightly more volume down here, so this could be a key area if we do sell off. So just keep an eye on this area for rejection, 607, 607, 77. And that's it really. Bounce area, I still quite like this zone here, only because we had a pivot, we had a big reaction, came up, another decent reaction, and then we kind of went sideways before we broke out and retested it. And we've not come back down to retest that 601, and obviously 600 is a psychological number as well. Just keep an eye on 600 for the bounce. But that also means getting out of this chop zone we've been in for some time. And we want to get out of that zone if we can, so we can also keep an eye for a bounce down here, rejection up here, and maybe a break and retest at 602 down into that zone. Notice the lack of volume and the void below that area, so if we do lose this area, we might have a free run down into this area here, 599 to 600. SPX. Good morning, Charles. Yeah, thank you for your comment. Wasn't really a green day, it's actually a zero trade day in the end, because I wasn't actually in any trade. So, but I'm treating it as a red day still, because it was a stop out on my sim account, so I will journal that. And basically there's not much. It's one of those days where the break and retest just didn't work, and then carried on afterwards. And it got outside of my 90 minutes to 2 hours I like to trade. Pretty much only want to be working 2 hours a day, and so that includes trading and stopping my trading when it gets to about 5 PM here in the UK. And you know, the ultimate goal is to have a very short work week and plenty of money to go with it, and you know, that's the dream. So that's what I'm working towards: short work weeks, more time for me for self-development, and you know, hiking, doing stuff I really enjoy, and less time staring at a screen all day. SPX, pretty much same levels. We've got this bounce area, or this zone here to watch for a bounce. Yesterday's low, and we've got this zone up here to watch for a rejection, and that's pretty much it. I won't be taking SPX as a trade. If you do credit spreads, obviously it's going sideways, so if you have your iron condor in place, should be a decent. If it carries on going like this for a few days, then it might be some good plays. I don't do credit spreads any longer. Nothing changed really, no levels have changed. If you're looking to find a short or an ES or SPY or even QQQ, keep an eye on this, because if we're breaking out above this area, we want to go short. You don't want to be going short as we're coming into support. We want to be going short if we're coming into resistance on the SPX. NQ, big move up yesterday. Yeah, this is where you get FOMO when you're watching the market. Again, I missed a break and retest of pre-market high, and I'm getting better now at containing my FOMO and my revenge trading. And I watched it. I just enjoyed watching it go up, even though I wasn't part of it. Just went up and up and up. Hit all-time highs. Kept putting in all-time high after all-time high, and now we're putting in this bit of a bear flag. We come back. We've met back up with the 20 moving average, which is the blue line, and potentially putting in this double bottom. So watch for break and retest of pre-market high 22,425, and watch for the break and retest of pre-market low 22,323. And then we've got yesterday's high. The only place I like for a bounce is probably here, which happens to be yesterday's. Oh, let's move that up. Again, because the contracts are rolled over, I've deleted all the drawings so we can read this again. We've got this daily trend level. Not sure how far back we can go. I think I was trailing it up like here. Let's just. There we go, that's a better area there. So this is our daily trend. Keep an eye on that. In fact, if we go to the daily, you can see we're in a nice uptrend. Let's stick to the hourly for now. If we clone it, I'm sure it fits in there. Look at that. So that's our range, that's our uptrend range. All I did, you just clone it. If you're using TradingView, press and hold Control, select a drawing, and you can just drag it and it clones it again. Obviously I had two selected there. So that's our range we're currently in. And you know what? Maybe yesterday, maybe I should have identified this a long time ago. Just connect those pivots up with the latest pivots as well. I cloned it, and look where we rejected yesterday, top of that range. So don't think it's just me watching these ranges. Obviously the institutes and smart money's out there watching that, but you can't have got any more smack bang on with that range. I literally just cloned that bottom line, moved it to the next area. You can see where we hold it, pivot, 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 and now we've got that pivot from yesterday. So if you were looking for a target point yesterday, that's something you could have considered. You know what, I didn't even consider doing that until right now. So that's what happens, hindsight, eh? So there we go, that's our range. We can keep within this range. We can watch some bounce points and some rejection points for later. You could also do fib extensions if you're trying to find a potential target. Not something I use that often. I think it's something like, we go up, down, and then back down again. And look, it's pretty much close to that 618 area there. Again, another little tool you could use to find potential targets when you're hitting all-time highs or rejection areas. Anyway, Not something I use that often, but that's another tool that could be used. Levels, we need to really pull back on this. If we can get back down into this 22227 area, or 27, just to keep it simple, we need to break and retest pre-market low into that area. So that's one trade. 50 moving average coming up to meet it as well, and we've got this volume shelf just below. Not much volume here at all, but yes, there was a look at the volume yesterday overall. Hardly any volume at all on that move, and if you compare it to previous smaller range days, then you know that's a red flag already, or an anomaly, and we can see the lack of volume here as well. So it's not until we get back down into this region, 22,100 is where we've got volume, so let's mark that up as well. I do quite like that area anyway, because it's a previous pivot. Mark up there, and it's a breakout area as well. You can see where we were holding, finally broke out, retest, broke out. So they're the two areas to watch for. I like shorting all-time highs, so I won't consider a short up there, but potentially we could watch pre-market high for a rejection if we're going to be in this range for a bit, waiting for the 50 to catch up. QQQ, again exactly the same. I've got some levels marked up here, and let's go back to NQ. Did I mark off that lower pivot? And that's an area there that we can watch as well. Let's do a proper area. So I like that area as well. 22,000, look at that, psychological number, keep an eye on that. Volume shelf and tops of pivots, bit of a pullback area, bottoms of pivots. So keep an eye on that area in case we do have a big sell off and kind of give back all the gains. Let's go back to QQQs. So I just like to keep the first 2 or 3 pivots or levels in place. So pre-market high, rejection, or break and retest long into new all-time highs. Don't want to short all-time highs. A bounce down at 533 and a bounce down at 527 to 528, this area here. I prefer this area. We do have a little bit of volume coming in there. We've got tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, and potentially we can watch that area for a bounce. There's a little bit of a volume shelf below as well, so we can probably watch it all the way down to that area. So that zone for a bounce. Oil, got 10 minutes, plenty of time. We'll just flick over to order flow in a minute because there's a little bit of divergence going on. Oil came up into that one, so that's a new level. It's created a double top. You could say that's another level as well. Yesterday's highs put that in as well, because it's a couple of pivots touching it. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches of that area. We're selling off, so the only place I like for the bounce is probably in this region here. It's a messy area, confluence. You can see lots of high pivots, bottom pivots more recently, and 68.95 is an area to watch for a bounce. And we've got this pivot here, so this basically this area, we've got the 200 moving average, the sideways moving average as well. Otherwise, if we break over a pre-market high, watch for a break and retest long. We've got a few levels we can take profits above, and again pre-market low, break and retest short. Potentially, are we seeing a head and shoulders? Oh, not very well drawn. This kind of sideways head and shoulders pattern. So potentially we could watch, zoom in a bit, for the pullback into the shoulder, into this area here. So this is the head and shoulders pattern we can keep an eye on, and then look for the rejection back down. And also we can also keep an eye on this area here, so trend line. Oh, look at that, lines up exactly, pre-market low. So keep an eye on that area for a break and retest, the head and shoulders pattern. Not all head and shoulders patterns has to be a perfect horizontal line. You know, this one's a, if I just draw the pattern in, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, you could say that's the breakdown there, and we've yet to retest. So basically it's just a lower high. and a break and retest of that level as well. So there's a few areas, a few reasons why we quite like to break that area there for the rejection. And that's it. Apart from that, it's quite a messy chart. Can't see a great deal. Gold. It's coming into this bounce area. I do quite like it. Reason for that is because I was going to say that volume shelf there, but I think we've missed that. Yeah, we've gone through that. So we could watch that area for rejection. Yesterday's low, break and retest, continuation on this downtrend. If we get over a pre-market high, probably best to get over yesterday's high, break and retest long into the point of control. Otherwise, we're coming right into a bounce point. I think we may have bounced. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, we pre-market low is technically a bounce area. I'm not a big fan of this chart, to be honest. Right now it's a bit messy, but this area here, 26.45, 26.43 area for the bounce, we may have missed it, so potentially keep an eye on that. RTY is looking weak as well. Let's just draw a trend line in. We've kind of got this trend here, that trend there. You can see it fanning down, so just a nice steady incline there, and then we get steeper and steeper, and then what happens next? We have a big sell-off, and we get even steeper potentially. That could be our next trend line. That shows us that we're getting momentum in the sell-off. But where would we bounce? The best place I can see for a bounce, we've got this volume shelf just there, we've got pivots there, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders there, again great pattern. Notice the lopsided neckline, and then let's continue this out, and we've got the bounce here at 23.05, but also 2300 is a psychological number, so watch that for the bounce. You could watch this 23.25 area, and obviously break and retest of pre-market low. And here's a good bit of volume price, VPA, volume price analysis here. We're in a downtrend on the hourly. We're pulling back, but look at the volume. The volume's declining. So there's a bit of a divergence there. We've got price, not much of a pullback, I know, but price is pulling back, putting in a bit of a lower time frame trend up. But we've got reducing volume, which is showing weakness. So potentially a break and retest of this area could be on 23.52. So keep an eye on pre-market low, yesterday low for the break and retest. Let's just zoom in and see what it's doing right now. There. So I'm gonna just put an alert in there. If we lose that area, I want to be just kept informed. I'll put an alert in a pre-market low in case I miss that, and I'll do the break and retest. And what volume have we got below? A little bit of volume there, a bit of a, oh hang on, it's just updated. Yes, so it's still got a bit of a volume there to get through, and then the volume goes into a bit of a void. So we have got a bit of room to manoeuvre. The next volume shelf is not until we get down. It happens to be the bounce point there as well. So we could find a trade 23.40 break and retest short. So let's keep an eye on that one. YM. Now, if you want to see a definition of a downtrend, this is it. Just perfectly following that line down. I could have drawn it a bit closer. We're coming into this point of control right now. Big point there. Inverse head and shoulders. Look out for a great reversal. Neckline's clear. Break and retest, and it's shot up. So that's what we're looking for. Something like that down here to see a sign that we're curving around. Either curving around. Look at this for head and shoulders. You could say that shot head. That's a that shaped one, or you could have used this as a shoulder and used this as a neckline. So that's kind of 2 in 1. So that's kind of, and we've got this, you could say there's a head and shoulders pattern here as well. Depends how you look at it. That could be the shoulder there, could be the head and the neck, but that's still the neckline. And the break and retest. That's why I love these patterns. They're pretty predictable most of the time, especially when you see something like that. Look how good that is. Next question is, did I get into it? No, I didn't. Disappointing, I know, even though I watch it every single day. I come up with these break and retest, I'll watch that, but in the heat of the moment sometimes I just ignore it, even when my alerts go off. Anyway, we can keep an eye on something. Nothing really happening now, so we can watch break and retest of pre-market low, considering it was that point of control on that bigger time frame chart. But on the closer time frame, notice the lack of volume down here. So there's not a great deal of volume. In fact, let's just move back to where we see where the volume is now. So the volume is literally right there. So we could watch that area. Pre-market low could be a potential bounce area. So high risk because we're in a downtrend. Break and retest of pre-market high. It's okay until we get into this trend line, and we can watch for target, and that's around 44,300. So just be wary of YM. And then finally, Bitcoin is putting in new all-time highs again. Let's go back to the day for this. In my opinion, and this is not financial advice, decline in volume, even though it's high volume, and we're coming into all-time highs, we're really extended. I don't think, I could be wrong, hopefully I am wrong and it does push up, but for me it's not a buy up here. For me, that's why I've sold. I'll only consider buying if we see a nice pullback. We're too extended from the 200, we're too extended from the 50, and look how extended we are from the 20 moving average, really extended from there as well. We did come back, you can see why it's continued. The 20 moving average did catch up and it held it for a bit, and then with the last few days we're looking strong, but nowhere near the volume we were getting previously. So Bitcoin, got to be a bit wary because there's no underlying asset on Bitcoin. It's like an imaginary asset. So as quick as it could go up, it could also come all the way back down again and some. So for me, treat it as a get in and get out. Take your profit and walk away. And then maybe just play it. I've also taken profit on my Ethereum as well recently as well. ETH. That's not it. It's that one there. I took out right on that. I think I got out just there on that push up. Notice the volume spike. Funny how I get out on these big volume spikes. That volume spike there. I took my profit about there, and then I took the remaining off there when actually reducing volume. So I've got no Ethereum now. I took it all out, and what I want to see, either a break and retest. I may look to add a bit more back in again. Break and retest. Oh, it's not very good. I think the market's just opened. Or I'm looking for it to pull right back down into these 2000s area. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Let's just quickly flick to order flow. I just said there was a bit of a divergence going on. You can see at the time price was increasing, this was decreasing. That's the divergence I was looking at. But it's pre-market volume. Look, we've got aggressive buyers coming in right now on a red candle. We do have a green delta currently, but I don't normally pay attention to the current bar. Looking a bit negative. Oh, there we go. So that's what I say, looking a bit negative. So that is an anomaly now as well. Red bar, green delta. And look at the cumulative delta. It's a lot of buyers there, but the sellers were just as aggressive. Right, trade safe. I will be on the live stream of the order flow, so any queries or questions or anything you want me to add into these, let me know, and I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my last session as well, because I'm taking Thursday and Friday off. I may be back Thursday. I'm going to London, so I will be back probably Friday, but most likely next Monday. Today's Tuesday, so I'll be here tomorrow. So tomorrow will be my last one. Okay, thank you for watching.